Imagine a peace treaty so flawed it sparked another war. That's the story of the Treaty of Versailles. World War I, a terrible war that took millions of lives, finally ended in 1918. Countries were exhausted, devastated by the loss. They desperately wanted a lasting peace. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, was supposed to do just that. But instead of healing, it created new problems. Germany, blamed for the war, was hit with harsh punishments. They lost land, had to pay huge fines, and couldn't have a proper army. This humiliation made Germans angry and resentful. The treaty, meant to prevent another war, accidentally set the stage for an even bigger one. The League of Nations was formed like a global club to keep the peace, but it was weak, lacking support from important countries like the United States. Then, in the 1930s, the world plunged into a terrible economic depression, making things even worse. This atmosphere of despair allowed extreme ideologies to take root. The Treaty of Versailles, though intended to bring peace, had the opposite effect. The harsh treatment of Germany created deep resentment. This, combined with the global economic crisis and the weak League of Nations, tragically paved the way for another devastating war. Imagine a storm brewing, dark clouds gathering. That was the rise of fascism in Europe after World War I. Fascism, a dangerous ideology, promised strength and national revival. It appealed to countries like Italy and Germany, struggling with economic hardship and political instability. Benito Mussolini, a charismatic leader, rose to power in Italy in 1922. He promised to make Italy great again. He established a fascist dictatorship, silencing opposition and promoting aggressive nationalism. Meanwhile, in Germany, the Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler, took advantage of the country's problems. Hitler blamed Jews and minorities for Germany's troubles, and his hateful words resonated with people desperate for change. With each passing year, fascism grew stronger. Hitler, becoming Chancellor of Germany in 1933, quickly seized control. He rebuilt Germany's military, defying the Treaty of Versailles, and set his sights on expanding German territory. The world watched anxiously as Europe edged closer to war. Imagine a world on edge, a single spark about to ignite a firestorm. By the late 1930s, Europe was on the brink of war. Hitler, emboldened by his growing military and the inaction of other countries, became increasingly aggressive. He took over Austria in 1938, claiming it as part of Germany. Then he turned his attention to Czechoslovakia, demanding the Sudetenland, a region with many German residents. In a desperate attempt to avoid war, Britain and France agreed to Hitler's demands at the Munich Conference in 1938. But this only made Hitler bolder. On September 1, 1939, German forces invaded Poland, shattering the fragile peace. Britain and France, realizing appeasement had failed, finally declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. The invasion of Poland marked the start of another global conflict, one that would last 6 long years and bring unimaginable destruction. The hope for lasting peace, so desperately sought after World War I, was gone, replaced by the grim reality of another world war. Imagine a line holding back a tidal wave. That was the situation in the early years of World War II. German forces, using a new military tactic called Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, quickly conquered Poland, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium and France. The speed and ferocity of the German advance shocked the world. France, once considered Europe's strongest military power, fell in just 6 weeks. With continental Europe under Nazi control, Great Britain stood alone. In the summer of 1940, the Battle of Britain began. The German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, launched massive air raids against British cities and airfields, hoping to destroy the Royal Air Force and pave the way for a land invasion. But the brave pilots of the RAF, helped by radar, and the unwavering spirit of the British people, fought back with incredible courage. The Battle of Britain was a turning point. Germany's failure to defeat Britain prevented a full-scale invasion. It also gave the Allies time to regroup and rebuild. The RAF's victory in the skies above Britain provided hope in a dark time, proving that Hitler's forces could be defeated. Imagine a fire spreading, engulfing the entire world. As the war raged in Europe, it spread to other parts of the globe. In North Africa, British and Commonwealth forces battled the German Afrika Korps. led by the brilliant General Erwin Rommel, known as the Desert Fox. The deserts of North Africa became a battleground, with both sides fighting for control of crucial supply lines. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, Japan, allied with Germany and Italy, launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii on December 7, 1941. The attack, which killed over 2,400 Americans and devastated the US Pacific Fleet, brought the United States into the war. The Pacific became a battleground between Japan and the United States, with fierce fighting on islands across the vast ocean. World War II had become a truly global conflict, with battles raging on multiple continents and at sea. The human cost of the war continued to rise, as millions were drawn into the maelstrom.